There are few actors in Hollywood who have mastered the art of existing in plain sight while somehow remaining out of reach. In an industry that thrives on oversharing, Liam Neeson has built a career on controlled mystery. But in the last few weeks, his name has been everywhere. Not for a blockbuster premiere or a controversial role, but because of whispers tying him to Pamela Anderson. A rumor that, whether true or false, is so wildly unexpected, it's impossible to ignore. The idea of Neeson, the stoic Irishman with a guarded personal life, linked to one of pop culture's most unapologetically open personalities, instantly captured headlines. And yet, as the internet debates dinner dates and romantic sparks, the truth is that no tabloid headline could ever match the real story of Liam Neeson's life. His story begins far from the flashing bulbs of red carpets in the small market town of Ballymena, Northern Ireland, where he was born in 1952. The world he entered was one of hard work and modest means. His father drove a forklift. His mother worked as a cook, and their lives revolved around routine and resilience. As a boy, Liam gravitated towards sports, especially boxing, where he showed enough promise to win youth championships. But the ring taught him more than how to land a punch. It taught him patience, self-control, and the knowledge that even the strongest fighters eventually have to face blows they didn't see coming. He was raised Catholic during the height of the Troubles, a period of deep political and religious conflict that would shape his perspective on loyalty and identity. Those tensions simmered around him, but young Liam found escapes in school plays and the transformative power of performing. Acting wasn't an obvious career path. It was more like a quiet undercurrent pulling him towards something larger. After studying physics and computer science at Queen's University Belfast, he left before graduating, unsure of his place in the world. A chance opportunity to join the Lyric Players Theatre in Belfast gave him the platform to turn an interest into a calling. From the beginning, his presence was undeniable, not conventionally handsome in the glossy Hollywood sense, but commanding. The kind of face and voice that could fill a room before he even spoke a line. Those qualities led to roles in theater, and eventually to John Boorman's Excalibur in 1981, his first brush with the cinematic world. Hollywood, however, didn't immediately open its arms. For years, Neeson toiled in supporting parts, lending his gravitas to films like The Bounty and The Mission, but still searching for the role that would cement his place. That breakthrough arrived in 1993 when Steven Spielberg cast him in Schindler's List. The story of Oskar Schindler was one of moral complexity, of a man torn between profit and conscience, and Neeson embodied it with a quiet, devastating humanity that stunned audiences and critics. The role demanded subtlety, restraint, and an ability to communicate entire emotional landscapes with the smallest shift in expression, qualities Neeson delivered in every frame. Spielberg later said that casting him was instinctive, that Neeson carried an unspoken authority essential to the character. The performance earned him an Academy Award nomination, a BAFTA nomination, and a Golden Globe nomination, cementing his place among the greats. For audiences, it was more than just a breakout moment. It was an introduction to an actor who could channel both the light and darkness of human nature, leaving a mark that would follow him for the rest of his career. But fate had other plans. In 2008, well into his 50s, Neeson's career shifted again when he took on the role of Brian Mills in Taken. What might have been just another action thriller became a cultural phenomenon, largely because of him. His delivery of a single monologue about a very particular set of skills became an instant part of pop culture. Studios noticed, audiences noticed, and suddenly, this respected Irish stage actor found himself reborn as an international action star. Off-screen, however, Neeson's life was marked by a love story that ended in unimaginable loss. In 1994, he married actress Natasha Richardson. Their relationship was a rare Hollywood marriage that seemed both passionate and grounded. They had 2 sons and built a life that, by all accounts, was more about family than fame. But in 2009, tragedy struck. Natasha suffered a head injury while skiing in Canada. At first, it seemed minor, but complications set in, and she was declared brain dead. Neeson faced a decision no one should ever have to make: to remove her from life support. In interviews, he's spoken about that moment with a heartbreaking clarity, recalling how he told her she wouldn't be coming back, that she had hit her head and they were letting her go. The loss could have broken him completely. Instead, he kept moving, perhaps because stopping would have meant confronting a grief too vast to navigate. He threw himself into work, filming back-to-back projects, often in the relentless action genre that now defined his later career. Some critics questioned the turn toward commercial thrillers, but Neeson seemed unmoved by those opinions. The work gave him structure, a way to keep the darkness from swallowing him. Through it all, he guarded his private life with an almost old-fashioned discipline. In an age when celebrity relationships play out in real time across social media, Neeson remained silent about his romantic connections, letting the public speculate. Over the years, there were whispers, a relationship with Freya Saint, Johnston, dinners with a few notable names, but nothing confirmed, nothing paraded for attention, which is why the Pamela Anderson rumor landed with such force. For many, it was less about whether it was true and more about the sheer curiosity of seeing these two names in the same sentence. Anderson, a woman whose life has unfolded like an open diary, and Neeson, a man who treats privacy as both shield and sword, and perhaps that's the core of his enigma. For all the roles he's played, the savior, the villain, the mentor, the avenger, the man himself remains carefully undefined. He has lived through sectarian conflict, navigated the punishing climb of a Hollywood career, endured the loss of the love of his life, and transformed himself professionally more than once. Yet he has never seemed desperate for the spotlight, never chased relevance in the way so many of his peers have. Friends and co-stars describe him as deeply loyal, with a dry wit that can catch you off guard. He's known to be generous on set, often mentoring younger actors, but equally known for disappearing into his own space the moment the work is done. He doesn't linger at industry parties, and when he speaks publicly, it's usually to promote the work, not himself. In an era where everyone is expected to have a brand, Liam Neeson has kept his brand as simple as possible. Be good at the craft, and let that be enough. That simplicity is deceptive, of course. It takes an extraordinary amount of control to maintain that kind of balance. Many actors who endure for decades reinvent themselves constantly, bending to the whims of the market. Neeson has managed to shift genres, adapt to new demands, and remain bankable without surrendering his identity. Whether he's wielding a lightsaber in Star Wars, voicing a lion in the Chronicles of Narnia, or chasing down kidnappers in yet another adrenaline-fueled thriller, he brings the same grounded authenticity. Audiences believe him because he seems incapable of faking belief in himself. And so, the Pamela Anderson headline will fade, as such things always do. In its place will remain the image of Liam Neeson, tall, measured, with a gaze that suggests he knows more than he's telling. A man who can survive the brutality of Hollywood politics, the shattering of personal tragedy, and the fickle nature of public taste, and still walk away with his dignity intact. In the end, the rumor will be just another footnote in a career defined not by fleeting headlines, but by the quiet, enduring respect he's earned across decades of work and life. If there is a lesson in his life, it's that mystery still has value. In a culture addicted to immediacy and confession, there is power in restraint. Liam Neeson has given us unforgettable performances, but he has never given us himself entirely. And maybe that's why, decades after his first role, we're still talking about him, still wondering who he really is, still intrigued by the possibility that there's more to discover. Because in a world that tells you to bear it all, the most compelling thing you can do is keep something back. And that is why Liam Neeson remains an enigma.